Hello, welcome to the overview of free on board or FOB contracts. Basically, FOB or free on board contract is a frequently used term in the sphere of international trade or international business because this term indicates the obligation of a seller and a buyer while shipping the goods. In simple words, we can say that this term is indicates or describe the responsibilities of seller and the responsibilities of buyer while shipping the goods to each other in the trading while trading. These contracts also provide certainty for the parties because they describe when and in what manner risk and title passes between the parties or passes between the buyer and the seller. So, knowledge of FOB contract is very important in trade transaction so as to reduce the risk and the cases of disagreements between the parties or between the seller and the buyer while trading or while shipping the goods. So, in this overview, I will discuss the seller responsibility and then I will discuss the buyer responsibility and then I will discuss the remedies and then I will discuss, in the last, I will discuss the conclusion of all the things. So, in seller responsibilities, I see that in FOB contracts there are several significant responsibilities that rest on the seller. Likewise, the buyer must confirm to the seller that the goods are cons- constant to the descriptions on the agreement to the quality standard of the sale of Goods Act 1979, Section 13. This gathers the total compliance with every aspect of agreed contract terms, including specifications. Furthermore, the seller is also to bear all cost coming with the transportations of goods up those ships rail before they are forwarded to the buyer. This responsibility or this obligation is split under the section 29(6) of the Sale Good Act 1979. And we will see that there's another responsibility that is very important, or we can say that is very crucial, and that is that the delivery should be on the time. uh, I will describe it like this, that the seller has the responsibility to make the goods to be shipped in the buyer's named ship within the uh, within the discussed shipping time or within the committed shipping time. Also, they have to remind the buyer about the shipment so that buyer can provide for insurance during the sea transport of goods. This is very especially important as a failure to give the notification written to the responsibility of any loss or damage on transit on the seller. Regarding the quantum assurance, one landmark case which stand out to determine the obligation of seller is Prioni and Co. versus Scandia Navigation Co. Limited, This case was in 1954. In this case, delivery was held to be paramount importance, and the nature of FOB free on board contracts were held to be flexible. And now I will discuss the buyer responsibilities. FOB or free on board contracts also outline the duties of the buyers with a lot of clarity. The most significant obligation is nominating a seaworthy vessel and to give shipping instruction to the seller at the right time. This guarantees the seller the ability to load the goods within the agreed time or within the committed time of shipping. There's another case for this, and this case is very known as the bench cop versus Tratex Export SA. It was in 1981. Illustrate the legal position regarding the principle of communication by the buyer to the seller. Buyer must also make payments for the goods either when receiving goods or the method as agreed or as a committed or as a contract upon the contract or as a signed upon the contracts. According to the selling provision, once the goods are taken to the ship, the buyer bears the risk of the goods all through the transportation process. Such allocation of risk also facilitate change of risk in a coordinated manner between the two parties or between the seller and the buyer. And now I will discuss the passing of risk and property. Another important thing which I will discuss is that which is also involved in FOB contract is the risk and the title shifts. All the passing of title, all the passing of risk, as I have discussed in my introduction. So, under the section 32 of the Sale of Goods Act 1979, the transfer takes place when the goods are in the ship's shipper port. The latter remains the ultimate responsibility of the buyer based on the risk of loss during the shipment of the goods. This feature is aimed to underline the compliance with the terms of agreement, more and proper insurance. Now, I will discuss the remedies of breach. So, in the FOB, or we can say that in the free on board contracts, also offer parties a remedy in cases of a breach of the contracts. For seller, Section 49 of the Sale of Goods Act gives the seller the right to claim for the price of the goods in cases where ownership of good has transferred but the buyer has not paid. They can also claim non-acceptance damages under Section 50. As a for buyer, they have right to reject goods which don't correspond to the contract's term under the Section 13 and 15. They may also seek remedies for non-delivery under Section 51. The remedies makes the trade transaction fair and provide accountability to the trader. In conclusion, therefore, FOB contracts are very useful in international trade because they give clear role to the seller and buyer. They facilitate the operation, reduce chances of conflict, and guarantee trust. This is especially important for anyone operating in an international business environment or international trade. Thank you very much.